short tabletop review on the Smith & Wesson Governor 162410 is the SKU. You know who's going to be pissed if I don't buy this gun, by the way? Tactical Doodle, my oldest son. He said, dude, you absolutely have to buy the Smith & Wesson Governor. He fell in love with it. Shooting it in the desert, he's just laughing, grinning. He's like, this thing's cool, man. He loves it. Now, granted, he loves pretty much all revolvers. He really does, and so do I. We're a revolver family. That's not reflected too much in TMP because I don't think a lot of guys do like revolvers like we do. They're just fun. They're second cool. We enjoy shooting them. For talking POU, recreational. If you give me 200 rounds, you say, hey, what gun do you want to shoot this with?
You guys can...
I'll probably choose one of my Smiths. 686P, one of my classics, Model 15, awesome. Model 19. Yeah, to me that would be fun. TR8 and the Governor, they're super fun to shoot. TMP or Sean also liked it. He helped us test that day and he was shooting. He's like, yeah, this gun's fun. It's cool. Little bit easier to shoot, more manageable, more comfortable than the alongside tested Taurus Public Defender. I still like the Public Defender, by the way. Cool gun. Smith & Wesson Governor, though, is kind of a different cat in a lot of ways. We'll visit features here in just a second. But super quick, because I covered it a lot, like in the Public Defender video, philosophy of use will be as follows. Car gun, home defense, maybe. I think there's some apartment guys that are using it loaded with 410 shot shells for less penetration through walls. I can kind of see that. I don't like that it doesn't have a light rail on it. And I don't know if it'd be a good choice for a female home defender, says me. Bear gun, nope. I'll take a Glock 20, thank you very much. But maybe some guys use it. Yeah. You know, loading, not 5, but in the Governor, 6 rounds under stress. Bear barreling down on top of me, I'll have to transition to blade. That's about it. Recreational, by the way, that's definitely a philosophy of use. For sure, it's a really fun gun to shoot, like we mentioned. Features review, super quick. Love the grip. Less, actually, more to hang on to than several of the Taurus offerings. Decent polymer, so it's polymer rubber, but comfortable. I liked it, and we did fire some full power loads in the suckers. Standard controls you would see in a lot of Smith & Wesson revolvers. Cylinder release button, I love it. It's always been perfect on Smith & Wesson. Not much to talk about. The quality is phenomenal throughout. There's no movement. The cylinder gap is just so in the Governor. Tolerances are tight. We're going to have kind of the same problem when we eject the shells. We don't have a full-length ejector rod, obviously, because this is a 2.5-inch chambered Smith & Wesson Governor. Because, and the cool part is this, it doesn't shoot just 410 shot shells, but also 45 Colt represented here. Then also these 45 ACP represented right here. Yeah, and thanks to Gunnies, by the way, for the loaner. Appreciate it. Contact information on the screen and below. It's fun testing this stuff. You can see the lockup right here. Detent and lockup back here. Tight. Trigger on the Governor. Really stiff in double action. I mean, it won't even be measured by my electronic lineman. I measure the single action pull at 5 pounds. This one right here, which is decent. Nice single action pull. Double action, like a lot of revolvers, is going to be just a long, albeit smooth pull like so. Quick look at this side of the frame. This thing is 31 ounces. That is one reason it is more enjoyable to shoot, because it does have some heft, but it would be even heavier if it did not utilize a scandium frame. That's what the Governor uses. And then the 45 ACP is just such a plus. I don't have them on the table, but you can load it with moon clips. They come with full and some partials if you want to mix the loads. 6 shot, not the 5 like you see in the Taurus Judge. And the versatility of being able to shoot 45 ACP is just off the charts. I mean, because 45 Colt's expensive. I like 45 Colt. It's a great round. 225 grains of lead going down range excites me. It always has. But 45 ACP is much more affordable. And this one, of course, has a 2.5-inch barrel. Little tiny ejector rod. Tritium big dot sight in the front. and then just a fixed groove sight in the back. And I really wish it had low profile adjustables, especially with a wide range of loads that the Governor can shoot. 45 ACP, 45 Colt, and a variety of 410 loads. We tested some Hornady loads, some Winchester PDX-1s defensively. I'll show you some targets here in just a second. It shot pretty accurately. I did find that it shot high for me though, like way high. And I had to like compensate out in the desert. And I may have written that on the target, I don't really remember. And I did also notice during shooting it, I would get pinched a little bit with the trigger. Oh, you're such a pussy. I know, it happened. Part of the review. So I like the grips. The sight picture itself is clean though, decent. And then just like a lot of these 410, 45 chambered large frame revolvers, I did mention it, but you're probably going to have to like rotate the cylinder and do some plucking occasionally on the shell casings to get them out. That's your features review. Pretty quick. How does it shoot then? Well, I already told you we loved it. We really do. It's a fun gun to shoot. With full power loads, it will get your attention. But you know whose attention is going to get even more? The bad guy you're shooting at. Because this thing is a hand cannon. Yeah. Same thing I said for the Taurus revolvers applies here. It just, I mean, it packs an amazing amount of lead into this package. The downside is the reload, and it's SAWC. It's a large frame gun. There are some leather pancake holsters you can get inside the waistband, perhaps. But like I said, man, I don't think I'm going to be running into a lot of dudes that are going to be either gear checked with this one, the Smith & Wesson Governor, or any of the Tauruses. If you do, we're going to have a discussion and visit. It will be fun. Accuracy on the Governor. I think I have it right here. Yep, here it is. This is 8 yards standing in, I forget. Might have been the desert inside range. Trigger pinches, yep, wrote it. Shoots high left. Lots of gun. Lots of gun. 8 yards standing, that's cool. These are shot from double action, dude. That's pretty good accuracy out of this style of gun. This is Seller and Bellet 250 grain 45 Colt. Single action. Look at that accuracy. Really good accuracy. Mixed loads there. I think that's a 45 ACP load. I forget though. And this one is shooting critical defense triple load. And again, when I shoot these things, you may see me laughing and commenting how awesome it is. Awesome weapon. High right, it was shooting for me. That's Seller and Bellet, wad hit. That's 45 Colt. But look at this. That's critical defense load. It's just amazing. It's just a lot of lead. The cool thing you can say about this, and this is interesting, and I didn't mention this in the Taurus review, is that, yeah, the 45 ACP pistols are awesome if you're going for a larger bore, for sure. But let's say you're on target with that one shot, and you can only get that one shot off for whatever reason. You're going to hit it pretty hard with a specialty load, whether you're talking PDX-1 or Hornady critical defense. It kind of reminds me of, and this will give you an aviation example, why the U.S. military went with cannon versus machine guns. The fighters in World War II were armed with 850 cal Brownings, M2s, basically the aviation version of that machine gun. But the problem they found is that in a fleeting target, here comes some hands right here, like you're tracking on a Focke-Wulf 190 and you're trying to get on the inside and shoot him and give what they call lead so he flies into your rounds. With Brownings, they just had a slower rate of fire, so it's cook, and so you have fewer rounds in that certain parcel of air where the target was going to fly through. When you get it like an M61 Vulcan cannon, it has such a high rate of fire that when your firing solution aligns, pilot talk again, you pull the trigger, he's actually going to fly through a box of air that is completely saturated with lead or explosive rounds. That's why they went with a cannon, and they've never gone back to machine guns. So cannon versus machine guns, cannons dominate. You might say the same thing with this. So if you can only get 1 or 2 shots off, and which honestly statistically is the way a defensive encounter goes. It's not like 50 shots are fired unless you're the New York police. I just kidding. It seems to me like sometimes they'd fire like 30 rounds and never hit the bad guy. Long story, but usually it's going to be 1 or 2 shots and then it's over. I'm talking rule of law situation. I'll make a case for the 410 specialty load. I think I'm a fan. Again, the downsides exist. Are you going to have it with you when you really need it? Because it is a chunky freaking gun, dude. It's a lot of gun. 31 ounces. It's thick in its presentation, and rounds limited. So there's always a downside. You just pick your poison. Would it be and we're going to morph right now into this actually pretty short format GRV of would I buy it? Would it be my first choice for carry? No. It wouldn't. I mentioned that I carry what I carry now, either a 10 millimeter Glock 20 if I want to go something big, or maybe a Springfield XDM 45 subcompact. I've been carrying those. Awesome gun. That's what I would do. Just, it still hits hard. I go plus P. It's not a composite load, with either BBs or buckshot or copper discs in the 410, but I like the size better. This is just too big for me to carry daily. And then as a nightstand gun, for me, probably not, because it doesn't have a light attachment or rail system. That's why. And I do like more rounds. Statistically 1 or 2 rounds, but I don't mind having more. So I know you're thinking, hey, is Nutnfancy or is Tactical Doodle going to be pissed? Well, the thing is MSRPs, and that's what I'm going to talk from now on, is MSRPs at $870. So it's going to be a lot more than the Taurus Judge. I do think it's worth it. It's a United States produced, super high quality Smith & Wesson. This is a Smith & Wesson. And granted, they're copying the Judge formula because they wanted to get in on the action. But now you have a super high quality interpretation of the Judge or Public Defender, whichever model you want to put in there. I think it's worth it. But for me to just go out and scrape up the money for this, I don't know. I don't think so. There's your answer. Doesn't mean I don't like it, but I think a lot of you guys watching this video will relate. You go, hey, I like that too. And I understand what you're saying as far as lead, accuracy, and it's totally reliable, of course. All that's good, but can you justify going out and spending $750 or $700 on a fun gun? A lot of people do. There's a lot of people that do. But for me, I would probably look a little bit more critically at it. It doesn't mean I won't in the future, but just right now. Don't tell TD, by the way. Don't tell him. He doesn't watch these videos at all, so he doesn't. But no, I ain't buying it, dude. Not now. It's still going to rank pretty highly on my likability scale. So sometimes there's a disconnect just because it's not, on my personal list of firearms doesn't mean I don't like it and I see a purpose for it. Good job, Smith & Wesson Governor. It's a cool gun. Out 13 and a half minutes.